Yo 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 guys. What's up? It's Wednesday. It's not Wednesday. What the fuck? It's Saturday and it's time for another tutorial. So, yesterday I finished this little shot and I'm pretty happy with it. It's a demo for the robot tutorial I'll be putting up when I get to the editing stage cuz I'm not even there yet. But I'll be starting that soon, and I just downloaded Nuke like 7 hours ago, not 7 hours ago, like 14 hours ago, and I've been just playing around with it for the past day, and it's been really fun. And this is the composition, the node setup for this little shot, and I've been getting a lot of requests to kind of break down what this is. So, I mean, yeah, it looks really complex, but when you actually take a look at it, it's not really that much. Because essentially, After Effects is the same thing. Like, After Effects is built on nodes, and nodes are built on code. And all the different layers have effects, and those effects are essentially nodes, but the nodes are restricted. They can only be on one effect. You cannot really link like different nodes together. While Nuke or other node-based compositors can link any node to whatever thing you want. Like layers can only move up and down, and nodes can be connected to everything, like a fucking fourth dimensional being. So yeah, like every time you want to scale something, you add a transform, for example. So instead of just scaling, you add a transform node, and you don't see that in After Effects. So you get a lot of nodes in here, and that's why it looks complex. So yeah, this is the free version of Nuke, the non-commercial one, and if you want to get the full version, yeah, you can pay $7,000 if you want to, which, I mean, it's pretty darn expensive, but I mean, I'm pretty happy with using this for now. So this is the original image. By the way, I do not feel qualified to even talk about Nuke, considering I've only like tried it out for a couple of hours. But this is what I've kind of learned to do this time, and still wanted to share some of my progress. So hopefully y'all find something helpful. But yeah, this is the render I got out of Blender, and these shuffle nodes, I'll not really be going through exactly everything, but the shuffle nodes will basically allow you to access like the mist pass, for example, if you want that. That's a bad example. If I want the albedo, I can get the albedo, and you can access all the different passes in here. So this is the beauty pass, or the combined pass that you get out of Blender, and I realized that this little shopping basket thingy was not, like, it was way too dark, so I rendered out only the shopping cart and brightened it up, or not the shopping cart, but yeah, and then I merged it with the already existing thing, so it just adds a little pop to it. And then I was not really happy with the fruits. I did not know they're gonna be so up close, so I actually found an image of fruits, if I can find them. Yes, this image of fruits, and basically I pasted them in here using a bunch of different nodes and shit like that. So like, I don't know if they're really visible here though. Yeah, I graded them down, made them blurrier, color corrected them to hell. Then I added some extra highlights on top to kind of, because you see that the highlights are not highlights anymore, they're just grayish, so you have to kind of bring them back up a little bit. I used a luminance alpha key for that, and then I merged that in right here. So just pasted them in there. And I actually did the same for these little tools right here. Just some butcher equipment, graded them down, blurred them out, and I put them right here to add some extra detail. And I also thought that I could replace these because they look like fucking hell. Like what is this? They look so bad. So found some beer and I made them a little smaller, graded them down, add some blur to it, and I rotoed out the thing. It's not really visible. It's so annoying because I had to change the position of them. But then I merged that on top to add some beer. Nice. And yes. Here I also thought that this needed some grunge because you can see this is completely black and here it's like pretty white. And I felt like it needed some shadow and grime. So I found this image on textures.com and I just graded it and put it here in the edge, and it looked pretty okay, to be honest. Took a while to figure out how to do that, because the thing with Nuke is that it's not really too easy to find tutorials. So it's a lot of just figuring out stuff yourself, if you don't like find them. But I was able to get that working, and I didn't render out any depth of fields because I wanted to do that in the composite, so you can see like I knew these were gonna be like blurred out, so I didn't put much time into them and kind of spent that on the other stuff. So basically you can use this C defocus node, and what that allows you to do is take your depth pass and you can bring up the edges a little bit to kind of smooth them out, and you can add that on top of this layer. So basically this merge node does not have this pass. It does not have the depth pass. That like you need a depth pass to do depth of field. So this copy node will just copy the depth onto the layer. So what I could then do is I could add a C defocus node, and if I brought this bouquet shape in here. It's a little funky, but it doesn't really matter, and I use that as the depth of field. So if I just crank up the size here, you can see it's really interesting how you can do this much in the composite. Just give it a second. Yeah, look at that. So come on. Yeah, it has a hard time figuring out the big sizes here. But yeah, we have a pretty nice looking depth of field, and this looks like miniature though, so I put this to 6, I think, and you just get a nice subtle blur in the background. And this works now. Before it could not cut it. This was too low poly. But if you just plan your shot, you can spend time on the necessary bits. And then I added some mists. So I took the mist pass and I took a yellowish solid and I mixed that in right here to get some mist, and that kind of helps to, oh my god, a car is fucking getting robbed or something. Never mind. And you can see that this now gets a lot more separation compared to before. Actually, one thing I might want to do is change the mist. Yeah, So I think the guy gets too mystified. So I can, for example, just add in a grade node, and this kind of functions like a levels effect. So I can just do that and multiply it up. So before and after. And if I bring that in, we should get even more separation between the background and that. No. Maybe I need to bring this one closer. That's like a really extreme value. So technically this should not get darker, but it's still good. What? I'm kind of confused. This is Nuke most of the time. You just get confused and you try to figure out why. But after that, I had some volume raise. So I used the volume raise effect, and I wanted, there's no thing to make this sharper and this blurrier. For some reason, I feel like that should be a default setting. So I rotoed this out and kind of made these blurrier. It's kind of funky, but it works. And I just put the opacity to like 0. It's really subtle, but it just adds a little bit of spice. And after that, what is this layer? I don't even know. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's the vignette. So I took a rectangle, like just a black rectangle, and then I rotoed a little vignette shape using wait, this one. Yeah, the ellipse. And I just used that as a mask to get some darkened edges. And I mean, yeah, the vignette is pretty darn good. It just separates foreground from background and just adds a little bit of focus on the actual character. And when that was done, it's time to just add some basic color grading. So I added some grain to just roughen up those shiny, perfect surfaces. Then I added some glow. It's really subtle, but it's there. You don't want to go too overboard with it. Just a little bit of mistiness. Then I added some grade, kind of bumped up the contrast and brightness. And a final pass was just a little bit of sharpen. Like adding in the sharpen, it just makes it look a little more stylized. You can see that if I bring the scale up. This looks kind of like a little drawing, which I do dig. But you don't want to go overboard with it. So I went with 1, I believe. Yep. And that's the whole composite, really. And I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest. And it was a great learning experience. But yeah, hopefully y'all found this little quickie helpful, or I don't know. Yeah, see ya in the next one.